In a piece called "The Awful Truth About the Highway Bills," Marc Scribner on openmarket.org specifically talks about the Senate bill. Let me read to you what he says.
Okay.
The Senate passed what he calls the obnoxiously titled "Moving Ahead for Progress in the 21st Century" bill on March 14th in a 74-to-22 vote. While ostensibly passed in a bipartisan fashion, it soon became clear that most of the Senate Republicans who voted for it had no clue what was in the bill and how it would be paid for. Gary Hutzema, a transportation analyst who previously served as a senior aide to Senate Environment and Public Works Committee ranking member Jim Inhofe, has done yeoman's work in his analysis of the funding provisions. Despite the bipartisan rhetoric enabled by Senator Inhofe, who admits he's a fiscal conservative on everything other than infrastructure and national defense, Hutzema's analysis shines a much-needed light on some of the jaw-dropping fiscal gimmickry contained in the Senate bill. For instance, rather than attempting to fix the revenue outlay imbalance that is driving the Federal Highway Trust Fund into insolvency, the two-year $109 billion bill relies on a series of one-shot revenue transfers that once used cannot be relied upon again. Since this is merely reallocating spending from other federal programs to the Highway Trust Fund, MAP 21 crafters were supposed to find budget-neutral offsets. Unfortunately, the bill's backers failed not only in finding the offsets, they used every last-ditch funding trick available. They cannot be used again.
Well, you know, let's be honest with ourselves, Susan. We all know the major problem here is how to fund our transportation network in this country, how to fund our infrastructure. The Highway Trust Fund is going broke. This time next year, projections show it will be broke once again. That's because there's less gas tax revenues coming into that Highway Trust Fund. We're using more fuel-efficient cars, as everybody is preaching that we must do. We're driving less due to the high price of gas. So therefore, revenues coming into the Highway Trust Fund are going down. We're using more transit, which is a good thing. But therefore, highway revenues are going down. And what the writer that you referred to called fiscal gimmickry in the Senate-passed bill may or may not be true. There are various sleight of hands, I guess you might say, that the Senate has used to pay for this bill, but they nevertheless have paid for this bill. And it is a bridge, if you will, to get us into a time frame past the November election in which we can sit down in good faith and with serious discussions try to step up to the plate and address these long-term funding problems. So this is something that is necessary now due to the jobs that are at stake that I referenced earlier, that we have to get done. It is paid for, whatever you want to call it, fiscal gimmickry or one-shot revenues. It nevertheless does pay for the bill until we can, as I say, sit down and address a long-term, robust transportation bill necessary to get our economy going in this country, necessary to put Americans at work, and necessary to show the American people that we have the courage to step up to the plate and agree to something in a bipartisan fashion.
Okay, to calls. Thanks for